Hi. Okay. We are here. We are good to go. How are we feeling today? It is a Sunday afternoon. Took me long enough, yeah. I think there might be a chance I'm getting sick. I'm trying not to will it into existence. I've been up pretty early lately too, actually. I think that I was up at, well, I was up at 11 today, but I was up at like 10:15 the day before, which is quite early for me. No, Kayla's feeling pretty sick, and like, I'm feeling something, but it's not significant in any way, shape, or form. And so I'm hoping that I can hold on to that energy, you know? Like, if I do get it sick, like, let it be just incredibly mild. Um, but I'm breathing pretty clear, and I'm doing normal things, so, uh, whatever. I was outside quite a lot yesterday. Um, and I'm sure that we're going to be hitting that like allergen era here real soon. I was talking to somebody, it's like, yeah, it's like in the winter, the air is so dry that I'm just, like stuffed up all the time. And then in the summer, the air is so like pollinated, I'm just so stuffed up all the time. I can't win. So that's fun. Um, yeah. So I've been doing a little bit of work on that Jupiter song that you had, Local Honey is a Trick. Yeah, no kidding. I actually have a friend who keeps bees, except I think that her bees didn't make it through the winter this last winter here, unfortunately. So I'll have to see if she's gonna try and host bees again. Um, yeah, I was doing some work on our Jupiter song here. I'd love another idea because I want to do another fresh song. But I'll kind of play through where we're at on this one. And there's a lot of things that I want to just do a little differently. This beginning is not really speaking to me. The space that we open up in. Like, it's fine, but it's not amazing. This part is cool. Okay. Some of the sounds feel too disparate. Is it the sound between this lead and going into this? The intro pad, are you talking about like the space? Are you talking about like all of this? No, like the big one at the start? What about it? You're saying that coming out of that into this is kind of... I do agree with that much of it. I have not done the transitions for everything in this song yet. I do agree that it's not as connected as it could be. But I like this space. And I like this space. So my vision would be to try and keep both of them. If possible. Let me double check what the harmony is here. I don't even know what's what anymore. MPE gets so messy. So I want to figure out a kind of a new drop section at the end here, because I have this space which feels fun. Like, that's got a good vibe, but it's not dense. So my idea was to try and drop some, a little disjointed drums at the end here. So anyways, that's the idea. Drums. Just to reiterate, I am still looking for ideas for today's writing, if you have any. I gotta know where all the other cats have been. It's just been you and I for the last 2 weeks. Which is just fine. I appreciate the company, but it's like, where's everyone else been? That is an excellent question, my friend. Okay. So let's build out a drum kit here. What do I want? I'm gonna just loop this for a second because I want to pick out some drum tone. Yeah, isn't that happening like right now or something crazy? Oh, okay, so the Artemis will provide continuous there's a live stream that'll start on 19th. The window opens as early as April 1. God, that's pretty exciting. And build a foundation for the first crewed missions to Mars. God. My goodness, man. I'm excited about that. So, is this Artemis mission going to be going like to the moon? Do a song based on that idea. This one is just looping around the moon. Gotcha. So this is Artemis 2 that's being set up. First crewed Artemis flight marks a key step towards the long term. Then 3. It's going to be testing fucking commercial moon landers. God. 2028 first lunar landing. That's cool. I'm glad that that's picking up again. There's the impatient part of me that's like, just go to the moon. Just go to the moon. But I know that's not how it works. For some reason, it's because SpaceX is run by a child, and a fascist. But, I'm not morally opposed to commercial space anything. It's just that Blue Origin is run by Bezos and SpaceX is run by Musk, and it's like, what if what if both of them just no longer existed, perhaps? I'm still looking for a good kick on this section. This one isn't the worst I've heard. I'm gonna try it just to get the idea going. And then I want something that's pretty out there for the snare sound. That's a little too out there. Where's the thing? I want to set this to one shot. Is that not an... Yeah, here we go. The sword pull is great. Rewrite songs from memory, yeah. That is a really fun sound. I am going to, oops, I'm going to try it. It's not going to go amazing, I'm sure. But I like the way it sounds. And then... Okay, I need a little bit more of a transient sound. Definitely more transient. Let's go for like a wood. Get like a wood block going or something. Okay, and then I'm gonna try and sneak in like a light 808 clap or something like that in here as well. Oops. Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of getting in the weeds on this one. Let's see how far that gets us. And then I'm gonna need hi-hats before I get too far, because I have an idea of what I want to try with this. And I do want this to be a little bit more transient as well. Yeah, let's do these ones. Okay. Yep. This is the queer agenda. Welcome to the party, pal. What is happening? Oh, I'm... Okay. That's probably a little bit too much going on here. I'm just trying to brainstorm through what I was... I don't know if I like that as the vibe. That's a little bit, let's try putting a little bit more groove on the high. That's worse. God. I just don't want this to be super structured, you know. It's just too easy to get into this, like, this space. And I don't want to be in this space. That's just way too boring, you know what I mean? Why are these assholes thinking that they can come in here and act like I give a shit about their 25 fake followers? I'm a little stuck on this one. Let's do it like reggaeton. I think that there's a sense of merit to it, but I don't. This is a lot closer to what I wanted out of it. Does the second idea sail as well? Because I mean, okay, so the macro vision that I have for a lot of the stuff that I'm working right now is that I'm trying to kind of like write stuff that feels reminiscent to dance music without being so overt, you know? How do I do the one where I find similar samples? Um, next similar. There we go. I like the tone on this one, but it's not punchy enough. Let's try this for a minute. I want this to be snappier, so I'm gonna try. I'm trying to snap up that snare sound a little bit. That really pulls out that wood block out, huh? Okay. Let's fill in the rest of these textures here, shall we? So I know that this baseline is already set up to accommodate I almost don't want the baseline to move. I almost want to like wash this whole moment out more. I would have it really riding on that C, that tonic note. That initial moment here is a little bit... That feels better. Even just something right there. One of the macros here is on pitch as well. Main tuning, there it is. Remove all destinations, how about? Because I think that has a really good tone by itself, and I think that we can turn that into something a little bit more subtle. So when we start, we're jumping in on a C, right? Yeah. Let's try something. Let's take this and let's make it a lot less full. Okay. So this macro 6 is not linked to anything, so I'm gonna send everything to macro 6. And then I can do a little bit of light wubbing. But I really like the space that this sits in right now. And so I think that I'm gonna go in and grab multi-band compressor here. And I'm gonna just set this to really accommodate the space that we're working in right now. So sum that up to about 230 probably. And then we're gonna draw a really harsh line up to that spot and a really harsh compression up to that spot. What I'm doing here is basically ensuring that it always sounds the way it does right now. Let's bring those highs up a little bit too, just for fun. So now if I start modulating on this a little bit, it doesn't really lose its presence. That's the hope, at least. So I think that here I want to do like a nope. Tighter. Let's cap this off at like 30 or something like that. Let's keep this movement pretty subtle. I'm not in love with it. Perhaps a failed experiment. Yeah. Maybe I'll just rip this out of the other song that I keep on referring back to for this sound. Because in another song that I'm working on for my album here, which this Jupiter one might end up in my album. Like I'm liking the sound enough on it to want to try and hold on to that song for sure. Like it fits the canon of the other work that I've been trying to do. I think that this is a good energy. You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's like I gotta remember how I have to sit down and like remake that so that I can remember how to make it on the fly, because it's a drop sound that I really appreciate for like these, like, this isn't dubstep, but there's an element of that, you know, it's evoking, it evokes upon itself. There we go. So I'm just gonna do it. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so we want this to be sitting at... Okay, so we got that. Then let's bump it up a little bit. How does that feel? Nope. Why does that freak out there a little bit? Okay. Something like that? Where does that get us? It's not groovy, but it's closer to what I was hoping for. But it needs to groove. Let's get a sub layer in here so it sounds a little bit better. And auto filter. Oops. What did I want to do? This is a percentage, I don't want that. Okay. I don't know why it's fussing so much trying to go from 16th to 8th on this song. That's so weird. Like, what's it doing? Truly, it's being real fussy today. Okay. And we'll drop that down to there. Let's try doubling that. How does that feel for us right now? Okay, let's hear it in context to see if this actually has a groove to it. That as a system right now actually works for me. I think that we're gonna need a lot more textures in order to like sell the moment. But I like how it was just because I was lazy and hadn't flushed it all out yet. But the groove on the back half here. That lays like identically into the A-B call and response style drops that I like to do anyways. Okay. So let's re-enable this because I want this to sit here and I want it to also be a little bit more ambiguous about what happens while this is going on. So this one goes up to a G, that'll stay on a G. Okay. And this one goes up to a D. That one can stay on D. And that one just stays on a C. Okay, that one will just stay on a C then. And then these ones are just gonna go away forever. Okay, I know that this isn't interesting yet, but I think that I can make this happen. With a little bit of movie magic or something. What am I trying to do? Compressor. Let's throw that on the kick. Over here. That's a good start. Let's take it up a step. Okay. Okay. So that's going to stay on that one for a while, and then that's going to go up to that 16th when... You're being so productive, damn, dude. Okay. I mean, that's something that works. I wanna think about what other layers I can throw in there to make that come a little bit more alive. I want one of these to just linger into this next section. Sorry, automation was being goofy for me for a second. It gives me a little bit of a tie over. I think that the drums need some mixing and balancing and stuff like that, but I feel like conceptually there's some really solid space here. I want to have like a pretty sharp pluck doing this kind of driving melody through here. Well, I already have this. And I want that. I want that 808 cowboys or cowbell. Oh my god, cowbell sound. I am capable of speaking. No, it's not. It's the Tokyo Drift cowboy bell sound. let's roll this back a little bit. Okay. I feel like that's got some good legs. I think that we're on the right track. I'd love something to helps that stick out a little bit, but I'm not sure what else I would add. Just like a little, like, something like that. Why isn't this making any noise? Oh, because this is... And this is where these bass lines want to come back. Where in theory, we just continue this whole progress that we had going on a little bit earlier. We'll see, maybe. Where does that put us now? I'm gonna listen through the whole song here. Okay. This second half here, I think feels really good when it does switch into the space. It just needs to have some more distinction for it to feel a little bit more ascended, I think. But overall, I think that that feels pretty solid, and I think that might be the form of the song. I think that we just solved it. Like everything that happens next is just going to be kind of cleaning up the tones that already exist, you know? So let's talk about what my to-do list would be on this one. First thing, revamping this intro space here. I think it's doing the right thing because I kind of like the jump scare of this pad coming in. And just how fat that space is feels right to me. We need to get that transition out of that space. Into there. Which should be really easy, honestly. That should just be like ear candy, like some white noise risers or something like that. Whatever sound clouds make. Sound cloud. I think that this melody here loops 3 times. Right there, and right there again. And then right there again. And I think that it loops 1 too many times, and I think that we need to have a pretty dramatic revamp of it. In one of these iterations, probably the middle one, in order to make that feel a little bit better. Then coming out of that space. I like the moment as it sits here, I think. We could do a little bit more to build tension through here if we want. Honestly, I might like the way that it comes in right now, though. I think that I like the subtlety of like I know that with EDM, it's like constant hype, constant motion, constant building. And I like the idea of this really feeling resolved. Like, this feels like the end of the song for a moment. Like, you hear this and we're like, oh, okay, we've hit the ending. But we don't hit the ending, we go. So there's 2 things that I want in that section. Number 1 is I want the drums to switch from being a little bit more. And then here I think I want the drums to go ham. Just really cymbal heavy. Something like that. Something like that. 42. Whoops. 240 to 80. So we have this little... And maybe I'll just duplicate that over so I can be lazy about it. You know, putting a little bit more of that A-B switch in the drums as well. Maybe I'll try and we'll do that kind of no, I don't like that. Okay, yeah. Well, you get the idea. Just doing something to differentiate the sections a little stronger. And then the last thing that I want to work on is probably opening up this last space here so it feels a little bit more triumphant. Because the moment here just feels kind of subdued, muted. Taking that moment out of the rhythm and putting it back into the harmony, if that makes sense. Kind of changing the way that the song is focused. Oh, ta-da! We did it. So now what? I've been so focused on this album that I have not been keeping up with my stream song album, and I really need to go through there and get that cleaned up. Album preview. You want to go through all the different songs that I have set aside for the album right now? Okay, let me get my set list pulled up here so I can remember what's what. Are we just going to sit down and listen to everything? I'll show you the two that are more done. You've heard them before. Also, I was thinking about calling this Memoriam, but I'm not sure. This is the one I was planning on having as the first track pretty securely. I'm gonna cut off the tails of these a little bit just to expedite, because you get the idea. That song is mixed, mastered, and ready to ship. Like, I could release that one today and feel okay with it. Past that, I have not finished any more of these songs. This is one that I've been really stuck on for a long time. This one might have to go later on the album. So this is one that I'm a lot less confident on overall. But there's a lot of parts of it that I really like, so I'd love to get that finished. Then this one, as much as I'm confident that the other one would be number 1, this is one that I'm confident would be number 3. This is another one that's basically done, but I have not mastered it, so this one could get prepared to get released soon. This one is really good. Yeah, I think that one is one of the best ones on the album so far. Some of these sounds are making my CPU work a little. Sorry, it's jumping so much, that's crazy. Come on, calm down. This is gonna be really annoying. Hold on. Let me, freeze our problematic child here and try and go through this a bit again. Making a new Bolacho soundtrack. Okay. I've got a few more like less developed ideas. So ones that I'm just not nearly as confident on. So here's one of them. Although I talked to Cole about doing a collab, and he said that this is the one that's most interesting to him to try and do something with. So I'll have to see what he thinks about this. Because if he wants to do some work with me... Oh, is this not coming through for you? What? You can't hear this right now, can you? There it is. So this that one. And like I said, I'm a lot less confident on it. I think that a lot of it can be fixed up with good mixing and stuff, but I don't have a good grasp on what direction I want to take it, which is one of the key issues. And then this one, I think, was your idea for Wizard Crab. Yeah, I've taken some license on the aesthetics. Okay. That one feels okay. I'd love to have more variety in that second drop, but everything else feels pretty good. This is in no particular order on these tracks, by the way. This one is Also, what one might consider finished, but I'm not really committed to anything on it yet. I do not have a good impression for them. I am sorry. Okay. This is another one that I believe is more or less finished. It is not finished. I should take that back. I want to rework the bridge in a pretty big way. Okay, this is the bridge that I want to rework. I guess we're maxing out our CPU again today. I had a different part here originally. I took it out so I could redraft it and I haven't finished it. So then this is the one that we've been working on. That's where like that Jupiter one would kick in somewhere here. We can get into some of the other like reject ideas. I have where is it? God, it was just here. Yeah, okay. I have like this one that I started and I don't think that it'll... I'm not confident that it'll go anywhere. I'm sure that I could make it happen, but... You know, I've got a handful of these ones that just don't feel like they're as developed. So that's one that could end up on the list somewhere, but I'm not sure. It's missing that little extra bit of like charm. I don't even remember what this one was. I think I was just messing around with some shit. don't know that this one was one that I started writing for this, and I think I kind of gave up on. This is one that I showed you the other day. So yeah, that's another one where I think that the vibes are really solid. I really like the ambiance in this space here. If I take out that melody, or the main chord layer. There's a lot of very good texture in there. There's one of my layers. Then another one. Another one. And then this one. These two together are really fun. So it's a fun song, but I haven't figured out what direction it's going to take yet. So, what do you think? You got your little album preview. How are we feeling about it? You vibing? It's tough because I want to make sure that like I'm doing right by this album. Like, I've got a lot of ideas and some of them are solid, but like it's not good enough for it to be good enough for me anymore. You know, it's like it's got to be perfect now, and that's not a great place to work out of. But also, I think that having high standards means that you have potential to do a lot better with stuff. I don't know. So, anyways, I better wrap up our stream there. Hopefully soon you'll be able to listen to these songs on your own. As soon as I can get my act together around them. It's been a big. I don't have a set release. I am wanting to get some of these songs like kind of up to par soon. As soon as I kind of have like a good vision for all of the songs on the album, I'll try and set a hard release date. But I've got a lot of other things that I'm trying to think through too. I'm learning a new like computer like image generating program or whatever, because I'm thinking about using it for the album cover. It's the one that makes the 90s looking thing like this. So I'm wanting to make some of these for the album cover maybe. You know, the cool shit. So that's the direction that the album art might end up going, depending on how well I can figure my shit out. Because it's a lot to try and learn a new thing. It's a little cheesy, but I think that it's something that I could lay into. I don't like thinking about that, dude. Why would you tell me that? You've made stuff like that? Yeah. I've seen some of the I remember some of that stuff. I'm just trying to goof around with it and have some fun. I don't know exactly like everything that Oh god, I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. I think that perhaps I am tired. But anyways, I will talk to you soon. I hope that you have a good evening, and I will see you next week, if not sooner. Okay, bye. Bye.